I'm very passionate about this, since this is something that I have seen almost all my clients go through. And I think it's time that we stop creating glass ceilings and be on the lookout of the things or the pitfalls that you need to avoid to glide your way to six figures and beyond. So I call it mindset of an almost six-figure CEO. And hello, Anjali. Let's go straight to this and no fluff. I'm just going to give it to you right, very, very real and very, very clear and exactly what you should be avoiding. And if you have any questions, come to me, ask them in the comments, ask them later, PM me. I'm a live human being. I would be more than happy to hear from you. Okay, so all of you might have heard of the millionaire mindset, right? There's so many books on it and some amazing books on it. There's so many blogs, people are talking about it, and they talk about what's the mindset of a millionaire, and especially a $1 million business owner, right? One of my favorite books on this is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I think that's what it's called, by Harv Eker, and it's a wonderful book. I love it. And we should all know, and I totally believe in behaving, believing, and being like a millionaire even before you've hit the $1 million mark in your business, because before you hit that, you need to behave and be like that, right? So I totally believe in that. And it's important to know what the mindset of a $1 million business owner is, so that you know where your journey is, you know where you're going. But what happens right before that, even before you start acting like a millionaire? And when I say start acting like a millionaire, I don't mean to say that you go buy a yacht or you go, buy a bunch of other things. I think you can hear my voice. All right, I'm going to go right ahead. So what I mean to say is the mindset, right? So how does a $1 million business owner think? What kind of decisions a $1 million business owner makes? How does a $1 million business owner behaves, right? All those things. But what I'm talking about is not the mindset of a $1 million business owner. There are plenty of articles written on it. There are plenty of people talking about it. I'm not going to talk about that. I want to talk to you about what happens before you've hit the $1 million mark. What happens even before you've hit the six-figure mark? Because what I've seen is that there is a mindset that an almost six-figure entrepreneur kind of creates or has that keeps them stuck on that almost 40, 50, or even like 60, 70K dollar range. And we need to avoid that. We want to avoid that. We want to scale past it, girls, right? We want to avoid the pitfalls. We don't want to create our own glass ceilings. There are plenty of glass ceilings that the patriarchy has created for us. We don't want to create our own glass ceiling. So I want to talk about these 5 pitfalls that you can avoid to get to the six-figure mark. And this is typically for people who are who've gotten over the initial hump of starting a business, right? So I'm talking about people who, remember that initial hump when you started a business, you didn't know how to get the clients, you didn't know what your offer is, you didn't know what an ICA is. I'm not talking about that. You're over it. You know who your ideal client is. You know what you want to offer and what you're good at. You also know how to get clients. You do know that, right? I am talking about what happens when you have figured out those first few, maybe 6 months to 1 year hump, and what happens in between when you want to scale and you are in that kind of like a messy period, I would say, right? So there are 5 things that happens to business owners at this stage. I'm sure there are many, but I'm going to talk about 5. And the first thing is that most of the business owners at this stage, they rely for their clients on referrals and referrals only. And this is great, right? I absolutely, hey, Nancy. The good thing about doing like Zoom, a live through Zoom, is that I can come back and see who's joining, right? So what was I saying? So referrals, right? So I always recommend that you have a referral strategy. In fact, if you haven't downloaded my free guide, One of the experts, Jordan Gill from Systems Save Me, she gives her exact referral system and it is gold. I've applied that in my business and it is amazing. I love having referral as a lead generation strategy in my business. But what happens at this kind of like a messy, rocking stage in your business when you have not hit figures is that you have your leads, your clients are only coming from referrals. And you're at the stage where your referrals are drying up, or they're not as many as they were before, or they're not as consistent as they were before. And the mistake that almost every entrepreneur makes at this point of time is that they say, oh, I want to scale my business. I want to increase my revenue because I want to get to consistent 5 figures. I want to get to that 6-figure mark. I am going to add more streams of income. So this is where when entrepreneurs go out, they create courses, they create membership sites. And there's nothing wrong in either of that, but because you haven't spent time in building an audience first, a ready to buy audience, because your focus was getting referrals only, what happens is that when you launch a course on a membership site, you don't get that return on investment, because creating a membership site and creating a course, there's an investment involved. And I'm not just talking about money investment. There is definitely a money investment involved, but there's also a time and effort investment involved, right? So you have to record the videos, you have to create the course materials, you have to do the marketing, sales pages, etc., right? So most entrepreneurs, what they do is they create multiple streams of income, thinking that that's going to, get them over that hump of being stuck in that referral mode. And that's a mistake if you haven't created an audience first. And what I say is that instead of, even before creating multiple streams of income, what you should focus on is creating multiple streams of lead generation, right? So right now, your sole focus on lead generation was referrals. Instead of going out there and creating multiple offers, multiple streams of income, and spreading yourself too thin, create or add multiple streams of lead generation. It could be outreach, it could be visibility on social media, it could be podcasts, it could be anything. There's so many ways you can get leads. I have 16 experts who shared their best advice. So if you haven't downloaded that freebie, definitely do that. But that's all I talk about all day, every day. But that is one major pitfall that you can definitely avoid if you are only relying on referrals. Let's talk about the second one. The second one is, what happens is when you are, in this stage, when you haven't hit 6 figures, you go through these periods of high marketing and high client generation. And then what happens is, let's say you did a launch, or you did like a huge marketing effort. You did a challenge, you did a visibility, exercise, or you were on a summit, or you were on a podcast, and you got tons of leads, right? So you did, let's say 5 days, you did a challenge in your group or on your page, and you got tons of leads, you got tons of clients. And what happens is that you get so busy serving these clients that next month your marketing crashes. I am not even kidding. Every entrepreneur goes through this, including me. I have gone through this myself when I was in that almost 6 figures, but not 6 figure yet, right? So you get very busy, you get visible, you get your marketing efforts full blown out there, doing all of that. You get the clients, and then you get so busy serving those clients that your marketing crashes. And that is a pitfall. And you need to avoid that, because if your marketing is at a consistent level, not high or low, it's at a consistent level, then your lead generation will be at a consistent level. And what tends to happen in this stage is that you will have a high month, but the next couple of months will be very, very low until those clients have fallen off your roster. And then you'll have another high month, and then you'll have a couple of low months. So you're not getting consistent leads. You're not getting consistent revenue in your business. So that's a huge, huge pitfall that I see almost every entrepreneur have. Awesome. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, the third pitfall is, and this is like a mindset issue. And again, it happens to everybody. The third pitfall is when you have that high month, because either your marketing was high, you got out there, got a ton of referrals, did all of that, and you got a ton of clients, and maybe you had a high month. Maybe you made $10,000 or $17,000. And I see that with a lot of my girls inside Hookim and Bookim as well, is that did it happen by fluke? Will lightning strike again? Can I do it again? And that is a mindset belief that we have. Immediately, our ego responds to it and says that, oh, that was just a fluke and you cannot do it again. And what happens is that it takes you in a spiral mode, right? So you start having that fear, and you start creating or taking actions based on that fear. You start creating choices, you start taking choices based on that fear. So the solution to this is, yes, of course it can happen again. Maybe not the same way, maybe another way, but I have done this, right? So this is a huge, and honestly, it's not going to happen in one go. This is a consistent effort in working on your own self-worth, working on your own mindset to believe that I created that. I had that high 5-figure month, whether it was 17K or 20K or 25K or whatever. And if I can do it once, hell yeah, I can do it again. But if you're not careful, you actually come to the third pitfall, right? Or fourth pitfall, which is you start making choices out of fear. And what happens is that when you're like, oh, it cannot happen again, it was by fluke, I cannot repeat this is not repeatable. And when you start getting referrals or clients which are not a match, they are red flag clients or nightmare clients, you say yes to them because you cannot believe that you can have that result again. So whatever clients come your way, the only thing that is in your mind is, I need to repeat that revenue that I had in that month. And for that, I have to say yes. I just have to say yes to everybody. And guess what happens when you say yes to everybody? You end up with clients that you don't want to serve with. You end up with clients who are sucking the energy out of your business. That is, again, a huge, huge thing that almost all my clients come to me for is, Deepshika, we have fallen out of love with our business. I have these clients, I'm making the money, but I am not fulfilled. And tell you what, nobody, you, me, nobody is going to go and die and have Deepshika made so many $1 million on her tombstone, or you will not have so-and-so made thousands and thousands of dollars or millions and millions or billions of dollars on her tombstone. You're going to have some legacy that you leave behind, right? She was a joyful person to be with. She helped so many people in her life. She, created this movement, right? We are not going to have that monetary value attached to us when we die. We're not taking it anywhere. And the purpose, entrepreneurship, y'all, is stressful and bad enough. It's not bad. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's stressful enough. It's difficult enough. It's not for the faint, for the faint of the hearts, right? It's something that you need to have resilience, you need to have willpower, you need to have determination to keep your business going from one year to another. And what happens is when you start taking those nightmare clients, you start spinning in that fear and you fall out of love with your business. You're not enjoying your business anymore. And that is not the kind of business I want you to have. And I'm sure that's not the kind of business that you want to have for yourself as well. So that is one thing that we definitely want to avoid when you want to work with your soulmate clients or when you want to get to that 6-figure mark. All right, we're spiraling down right now. You have the belief that, did it happen by fluke? Is lightning going to strike again? And we start creating our own glass ceiling, right? We say, we need to work with anybody who shows up. And what happens is when people show up, not only their nightmare clients, but the fourth pitfall is that what you start doing, you start making choices out of fear is when people say, oh, you're so expensive. I don't think I can afford that. And your immediate reply is, oh yeah, but I can give you a discount, $1,000 off or $2,000 off. I can give you that. And that is the worst case scenario. Basically, you get stuck on that hamster wheel because if you're going to be giving discounts, my love, you're not going to be able to hit that 6-figure mark, right? If you're going to be giving discounts on your packages to every other client that walks in, you are never going to be able to scale your business, right? Now, I'm talking about giving discounts out of fear, and I'm not talking about, let's say, a Black Friday discount or like a July 4th discount. I'm talking about giving discounts on the fear of that I don't think I will make that income again, or I don't think I can get my ideal client. And guess what? Each and every person who's worked with me, who's inside Hook 'em and Book 'em, they go through this cycle and then they realize that, yeah, actually, the biggest thing is that I can say no to red flag clients and I will get ideal clients. One of my gals, she actually fired a couple of her clients and she was really, really scared in firing it. And then there was another third client that she's already thinking of firing. And when she started taking action on this, when she fired these two clients and started the conversation on what's my life going to look like? Yeah, it's scary because I'm actually going to lose out on income. She got 3 or 4 new clients immediately. It actually became her highest month of $17,000 in spite of firing those 3 clients, or actually 2 clients, the one that she hasn't fired yet, but she's in the process of, right? So when you take choices out of fear, then you are stuck. But when you get courageous and you're like, I don't care what happens, but I want to feel joy in my business, because that's the point of business, right? We want to feel joy when we're doing business. I'm going to let this client go. I'm going to say no to this client because it doesn't feel like a right fit. And I'm absolutely not taking discounts, not giving discounts. That is when you stand in your worth. And honestly, secret, that's when the universe sends you money, leads, clients, and your soulmate clients. So I'm not even kidding. You can definitely go try that yourself. All right, the 5th pitfall, that is, again, one of the biggest pitfalls in entrepreneurs who are stuck on that hamster wheel is, I'm going to do it all by myself. I don't need to hire someone else. I'm going to write my sales page. I'm going to design my Canva templates. I'm going to create my website. I'm going to do everything on my own. And what you're doing is you are trading time for money, right? You are creating that glass ceiling, because time, my loves, is not a renewable resource, right? You cannot get time back. You can get money back, but you cannot get time back. And as female entrepreneurs, and some of you here are moms too, our time is so valuable. And this is where you need to start thinking like an entrepreneur who's already making 6 figures, who's already making multiple 6 figures, and who's already making $1 million in her business. You have to start thinking like a CEO and not like a business owner. You need to think like a CEO who is at the head of your company and you have departments under you. What will you outsource? This is where you need to really start thinking about systems and hiring a virtual assistant, or maybe hiring, a contractor who can do your design, because that is going to free up your time to invest in your lead generation, your marketing, working and delivering to your clients so that you get them absolutely fantastic results. They give you testimonials and you get more clients. You need to do all of that. There's another thing that happens here is that when people reach that almost like 3 or 4 months of $10,000, $12,000, they feel like they can do it by themselves and they keep going. They don't invest in systems, and they also don't invest in, let's say, more coaching or mastermind, etc., etc. This is the time when you need that extra person, that extra, someone on your team, or as a coach, or as a strategist, or a business manager, to look at your blind spots and see that Deepshika or Sarah or Allison or Nancy, this is where you're leaving money on the table. And this happened with me inside my business a couple of months ago. As you know, I just released a freebie, and one of my team members said that I think we can add like a small offer at the end of it and start generating some revenue and some leads out of it, right? So, which was not something even I was thinking. And this is where you need that extra, almost like an extra brain, extra mind, extra person in your business, because you are the CEO. You are someone who is at the high level, who's delivering, who is performing, you are taking care of your clients, you're doing that high level marketing. But this is the time when you need to start bringing in systems, people, coaches, and help. And when I say coaches, it doesn't mean a business coach, right? I agree that everybody should have a business coach. Like, I probably will always, always, always have a business coach. I have 3 right now. Three kind of coaches. I will always have a business coach in my business, but this is the time when you even need to look at other things that you need help with. So maybe you need some financial coaching. Maybe you need some mindset coaching. Maybe you need some help in your business as far as systems is concerned. Or like one of my peers, she just hired someone to do her social media. And she was like, oh my God, Deepshika, that has saved me so many hours a day. Can you believe that? That's going to be my next hire. That is totally my next hire. A full-time social media person inside my business who can take care of my social media. You need to start thinking about not that I am going to do everything on my own, because you, my dear, are the CEO. You have departments under you and people taking care of those departments. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up and tell you these 5 pitfalls that you need to avoid. First, instead of only relying on referrals and creating different streams of income, create different streams of lead generation. Second, get out of, how do I call it, fluctuating marketing, right? Up and down marketing, where you market, get a lot of clients, you get busy with the clients, and then your income crashes. The third, work on that mindset. You can absolutely repeat your success. If you did it once, you can do it again. Third and the fourth is stop taking choices out of fear. Ask yourself, what am I going to choose? How am I going to act if I was acting out of courage and not fear? Will I say yes to that client? Will I give discounts? Ask yourself always that. In fact, the better question would be, how would my next highest self respond to this situation? Will I still say yes to this nightmare client who's sitting right in front of me, and I know she's going to be nightmare, and I know she's a red flag, and I know she's going to be a pain in the ass for me? Or should I just say no to her because I know that I am going to get a soulmate, an aligned client if I say no to her? And the last one is, you cannot do it all by yourself. No, you cannot. Right? You need a team, you need support, whether it's business coaching, whether it's a mastermind, whether it's a peer mastermind, whether it's help with systems or your business or social media. You need to go and hire it out. All right, let me know which one resonated with you the most. Which one are you stuck on? There are people who can be stuck on all of them. There are people who can be stuck on either of them, or there are people who can be stuck on something else. So share with me. Let me know if you have any questions, and let's all break that glass ceiling of our income. Let's create that impact and that wealth that we all are meant to create in the world.